Hi, everybody. So good to see you here at the webinar on digitizing safety and emergency response management, um, and how the Syook Safe module can help enhance safety at your workplace. My name is Deej Fukan, and I am the VP Marketing at Syook. I'm a very proud member of the company, and I love what they're doing and how they're helping their clientele. I have with me Mr. Arjun Nagarajan. He is the CEO and founder at Syook. Arjun, I request you to please introduce yourself a little bit about Syook and take it forward from here.
Thank you, Dheeraj. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. My name is Arjun Nagarajan. I am the co-founder and CEO at Syook. And prior to working at Syook, I have a little bit of exposure, right? My co-founders and I have about 36 years of combined oil and gas experience working across the world, right? And we used to work with oil service companies, which pretty much used to work with most of the major oil companies in the world. And we used to provide technology based services on onshore and offshore rigs in the upstream oil and gas industry. So, safety, as you know, especially in the oil and gas industry, is paramount. And working there gave us a lot of experience with respect to how safety is handled as a function and is an integral part of operations. So let's talk a little bit about operations, right? For the purpose of our discussion, operations means converting manpower and materials into goods and services as efficiently as possible, right? One of the most common examples that we can see is that of manufacturing, right, where raw material and manpower resources are used to convert raw material into finished goods. um, Efficiency is a key word in operations, but however, overall operational success is uh, is completely dependent on safety. Right, safety is the most important measure of operational success because however efficient we are, however quick we are in production and other things, so if there is no safety at the workplace, then the plot is lost. Right. So let's talk a little bit about evolution of safety at the workplace. This is the famous Pivot curve. I'm sure all of you have seen it in some shape or form. Right, on the y-axis is the level of losses, and on the x-axis is the time in an organization's safety evolution. Right, initially there is the traditional phase where there is the individual controls, attention to rules, discipline, and enforcement. Then there is the transitional phase once the traditional phase has been achieved, which talks about engineering controls and safe work procedures, right? And then there is the innovative phase, right? The innovative phase brings the step change that is required to decrease the level of losses to as low as reasonably possible, right? Where we create a culture of safety, we create a culture of motivation, and we try to eliminate risk in as many areas as possible, right? So safety, instead of being separate function with its own vertical, starts to get integrated into operations and becomes a part of the workforce culture. Now, in all these things, digitization plays a major role. Now, everything is getting digitized. A lot of organizations are undergoing their digital transformation journey. And in order to reach the innovative phase in safety evolution, we have to digitize. So let's talk a little bit about how does digitization help when it comes to safety. So lack of visibility in operations creates very expensive inefficiencies, right? So a lot of us are from the operational background. We understand if we don't know what is going on in real time, how can we correct it? Right? That's the very simple premise. And if you don't know, like there are a certain number of people working in the loading unloading area. There are a certain number of people working in the engine room, and so on and so forth. Like, there are a number of examples that we can take, right? And if we don't know what is going on, how can we fix it, right? What the Syook Inside platform does is provide real-time visibility with a map of the facility, right? We are able to see where different sets of people are. We are able to see in real time positions of people. We are able to see how they behave in case of an emergency. And we also get contextual alerts in case something goes wrong, right? So, I have a couple of very short use case demos that I would like to share with you. The first demo that I wanted to share with you is how a Syook Safe system works in case of an emergency in the facility. So what the platform does is basically plots position of different assets of value, right? And the most valuable asset is people on a map, right? For example, we can see the different employees in a certain color. We can see different contractors. We can see truck drivers. We can see the ERT or emergency response team at certain locations. We can see who the visitors are. We can see who the security guards are. All of this in real time, right? Now, let us say there is an emergency, right? So, if there is an emergency, what happens in a facility is people start moving towards the muster area, right? Once people start moving towards the muster area, we are able to see in real time on a map how many people are there in the muster area as compared to how many people are stuck in a different part of the facility, right? We can also kind of click on the location of person to know who that particular person is who is actually stuck in a particular area in the facility. This actually helps us to know in real time where to send the emergency response team, how to respond in case of an emergency. Right? This is just one use case. I'll show you another use case that is done on the same platform. Right? So let's talk about another example where the Syook Safe application or platform can be used to ensure safety at the workplace. Right? Let us say, God forbid, at the workplace there is an accident like a fall. Right? Every person on the facility has a tag which is capable of sending an SOS alert, which notifies the real-time command and control center. By this, what is happening is we are kind of democratizing safety. Everyone at the workplace is responsible for the workplace being safe. Of course, these are two use cases that I wanted to highlight in detail today. There are a number of other rules that can be set to increase the behavior based safety culture at the work site. So let me show you an example of that. So when we are at the workplace, and especially in the aspect of safety, if something goes wrong, if there is some wrong behavior when it comes to safety, we would like to be notified immediately, right? So the Insight platform has a complete rules engine or a compliances engine, right? So let us say we would like to implement the buddy system. How can we check whether the buddy system is actually working, right? So let us say we look at this rule: at least two people must be in the welding area at all times. This is something we can implement very easily using the Syook system, right? That one welder and one firewatch person is there with the welder at all times, right? Let us say there is a limitation on capacity, right? Only 15 people are allowed in the engine room for safety reasons. All of this can be tracked, and it is all very dynamic, right? Doesn't require any code or customization. All these things can be enforced and monitored with the Syook system, right? Another example is, in case of an emergency, where are my emergency response team, or where is my emergency response team? How do I mount an emergency response in the facility? So all these are rules that can be configured by the end user, right? So end of the day, the Syook platform is a very versatile system that actually helps us digitize safety, and build a culture of safety in the organization. So that's all I had for the presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We are very happy to take a few questions, and you can always contact us to book a demo and get into details of the platform. Thank you once again.
Great, thank you so much, Arjun. Thank you so much for enlightening us with those points. I think a safety in a warehouse and a facility is very important, and I think the solution can help a lot of people. So I'll open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, you can simply type it in the chat box. We will pick it up and ask the speaker, or you can simply ask us to unmute you. We will unmute you, and you can then ask the question. All right, here we go with the Q&A.
So, Inder, I see your question about electrical safety, right? One of the things that is used in electrical safety is, restriction of the area, right, of where critical electrical equipment is used. What we provide on our platform is, soft access control, right? We know the moment, untrained people go into a facility where there is a high risk of an electrical shock or a electrical related accident. And once that happens, we can proactively intervene and make sure that people don't go into into that particular area. However, for the traditional kind of electrical monitoring and management, right? There are a number of IoT solutions also available, but in case of maintenance and all, the standard lockout tagout kind of procedures are being used. Right. So hope that answers your question.
Great. Arjun, I have this question. Can you tell us more about the compliances module? I mean, you gave a very brief understanding of it. Can you be a bit detailed and let us know how it can help?
Absolutely. So that's a great question because we all talk about behavior-based safety and that everyone should be responsible for safety. But unfortunately, those who are in the safety function actually know that it takes a lot to inculcate culture of safety in an organization, right? And there has to be repeated training, repeated messaging, and people doing the right thing even when they are not being watched. Right. So the compliance engine helps us do just that. It helps us kind of in a bird's eye view of what is going wrong in terms of safety, productivity, and compliance in the operations. Right. So let me take an example. Let us say that trainees are not allowed in an engine room or a boiler room or some place where there is a higher chance of an accident happening. Or you could have something like a rule in the facility that trainees are not allowed in the boiler room unless accompanied by someone who is much more senior. Right? Is this always enforced? Is this enforced at 2 in the morning when there is no one else and someone just sends the trainee saying, "Go see what has happened and come back." Right? So those kind of things can all be monitored using the compliance engine. Right, the moment something goes wrong, someone gets notified, and this usually occurs in a matter of seconds. Right, so that once people are notified, they are able to take active action and correct behavior of people who are not following safe protocols.
Great. So, Arjun, can you also tell us about what a person needs to wear so as to, so that people can, you can see them in a digital environment? And other than safety, do you have any other use case that the companies can use this system for?
Sure. So, what we assign every person on the facility, be it employee, contractor, visitor, like we saw it on the map, right, is a Bluetooth-based tag which helps us track location. And using this tag, we are able to get location with just a few seconds delay, right? Few seconds means like 4 or 5 seconds kind of a delay, and then we are able to actually monitor position. Once this gets fed into the rules engine to see everything is going right or wrong. And this is a no-code platform, right? So every facility has different rules. So it doesn't mean that every time we need to go and code. These can be set by the end user themselves. So it's very easy to deploy, right? Our deployment time is usually in the order of days, not weeks or months, including the compliance engine, right?
So, Arjun, one more question that I have is, can you mention some more use cases? You showed us the environment,
Yeah.
people running towards the safe area. Is there anything else you can let us know when it comes to safety? Some other use case?
Sure. So what we also measure for our customers is apart from the, of course, the safety related use cases, is productivity and compliance, right? Productivity is also very important, and because of I mean, we would like to know in real time how many people are, for example, there in the loading unloading area, right? Whether someone is supposed to spend who's supposed to spend a certain amount of time in a shift in a certain area, they are actually spending that kind of time or not, right? It's always uh, it's always very easy to assume that everything is going right, unless some big mistake happens, right? And what happens is, when something goes out of place, when people are not there in the designated areas, we get to know right away. We are able to improve safety and productivity because of that.
Great. So we have a lot of EHS heads and also safety managers over here in this particular session. So what would you like to suggest then?
So one of the things for safety heads is actually not only the emergency mustering, right? Because let us say a fire drill or something like that happens once in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. It is the same platform that can be used for safety, productivity, and compliance, right? And compliance is something we need to measure on a day-to-day basis, and not just in the case of an emergency. So it's the same platform that is used for everything else. And one more key use of this platform is visitor management, right? Do we know whether our visitors are going just to the assigned area that they are supposed to go to, or are they going all around the facility? So the security aspect of the platform also becomes very important, right? So it's a completely modular and configurable kind of a system, and I would encourage everyone to take a demo if this is relevant, right? And we can deep dive into the details of how the platform works and take things from there.
Great. Mr. Arun Narayandas has a question. He's asking how we can ensure safety of power transformer monitoring and heavy duty breakers.
Sir, if I understand your question correctly, it is more about power monitoring, right? And what we are talking about is kind of restricting access to people over there. We will know the moment someone goes there and goes into a restricted area. And of course, we always have these physical barriers around electrical equipment, right? So the moment someone who is unauthorized enters that area, we know that that a person has entered that area, and an alert is generated immediately. I hope this answers your question.
Mr. Arun, you have the mic access now, so you can, if it answers the question, please let us know. Otherwise, you can reiterate.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Right. Thank you.
So, yeah, we have probably one more question. What about static electricity?
So this, I'm assuming you are asking about the static electricity of the tag, Mr. Venkatesh. So the tag is completely plastic, right? And there is it works on the Bluetooth low energy protocol, and it is used in the transmission level is actually very low, right? It's even lower than Bluetooth. So it doesn't really generate any kind of static electricity. The IoT gateways, however, are powered and they are treated like any other powered equipment on the premises. I see the question from Navinder. Does it use CCTVs and access control systems? So we use access control systems. We don't use CCTVs as of now. We use this virtual map that you see is created using Bluetooth location tags and IoT gateways.
Great. I think that's good enough, Arjun. That's all the questions we have. So for any more questions, you can simply email us at, you can simply directly email me because I'm sending you a lot of emails. So it's deej@syook.com. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar. It was an amazing time to be your host. And we look forward to seeing you at our upcoming webinars that will take place throughout the year. And I'll keep you posted on the latest of what's happening. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Arjun. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.